I didn't forget about anybody. Oh, wrong camera. I didn't forget about anybody. I'm doing some laundry over in the other side, and I'm doing stuff. Speaking of doing stuff, have you guys ever seen? I'm going to make some of these, but have you heard of the Gridfinity? Gridfinity. Zach Friedman designed them, and there's a whole bunch of them out there. I printed a couple today. That's a holder. Hopefully, let's just check this out. Where did I put my? Oh, this little guy here. So I've got this driver here, which is a really cool lithium polymer set driver here, and I got these, and I use it to drive these little hex wrenches that are anywhere from 1.5 to. See, the problem is in these holders here, I can't read them too well. So, but if I pull them out, I can see that that's a 2 millimeter. Now that should fit in there. Oh, nicely! Look at that. So that I can fit. So I can fit 1, 2. Let's just see this 3. And you guys have probably seen these, but that's okay. That's too bad. It's my show. I do what I want. 3 more, and then we can just do the 1, 2, 3. This is just a few of them, but I have other bits too. But I mean, it's pretty cool, and it's basically called the Gridfinity system because you print these trays on the bottom, and you can store these, and it's for organizing tools. There's a really cool one there for measuring length of your screws when you're sorting your screws out. So, for instance, I have this random screw sitting in my screw drawer here, and I'm thinking, how the heck long is this? With this, I can put it in and say that is 40 millimeters. And then this one is, that one is 26 millimeters. Pretty cool. Yeah, they are. So I'm gonna be printing a bunch of these things, these Gridfinity system things. I like these. I'm gonna try and organize my drawers. I have one printing right now that's for the snippers, for laying snippers in. So these are really cool, and they print extremely well. And yeah, there's so many of them out there. So cool. That's my new fun thing I'm gonna do. Anyways. That's very cool. That's sort of a printing project. And to me, that's a practical print project that I'm working on. So kind of don't want to get rid of these, but you know what? I tend to hang on to stuff like this and then whatever. So anyways, last night, thinking, I think it was Zenbender last night, just before the stream ended. If you're on here, Zen, speak up. You mentioned something about the ZN stop pin on the ZN stop. So this guy just about knocked my cameras off the end of the bed here. So let me grab this camera. So this pin here. So, and Zixalter, you'll know this too probably, because we were having an error when doing the, oh, this is dirty. We were having an error when doing the Z calibration. And it was something to do with the fact that I wasn't able to get the nozzle close enough to the bed. But is this the one? No, that's not the camera. Is this the one? Which is it? Oh, it's Brio. This one. Why isn't it working? Why is this camera not working? We're plugged in. Here, let me see if I can go to OBS and figure out why this camera's not working. Let me go and let me deactivate it. And let me activate it. There we are. Okay. Now it's working. Ooh, scary. So this pin right here, right there, I believe, yeah, I believe Zenbender said something about this pin should not be sticking any more than about 0.5 millimeter up above the bed. Okay, and it's obviously sticking. Here, if I move this over to the side. See, why does this camera do that? And let me get this camera unfrozen again. I have to work on my USB ports. I think I've got too many cameras plugged into too many ports. And are we live on that camera yet? Let's go. What's going on? Oh, I think it's the plug. Maybe I've got a bad connection. Let me try this. Oh, there it is. I think the plug was loose. I just turned the plug upside down and we seem to be okay. So anyway, so if we look at that, sort of from a camera eye view, and if we can get the camera to kind of focus on that, don't focus on anything else. Focus right there. Oh, almost there. So that is definitely, I don't like the way that's focusing. Come on. Yeah, there you go. You get the idea. So that is definitely sticking up above the bed, more than 2 millimeters. And I can, where did I put it? I've got these feeler gauges. Oh, sorry, I can't even see the chat here. Stop. Loosen your set screw. Yeah, I'll loosen my set screw and see how much that'll fall. But so here's my feeler gauges. So here's a 1 millimeter. There's a 1 millimeter gauge, and it's definitely sticking up more than one. I'd say it's probably sticking up 3 millimeters. That's a 1 millimeter feeler gauge right there. I'd say we're up 3 millimeters, and that's about the error. That's about the height of the error that it's giving me. So let's go ahead, as you say, and lower that set screw and see if I can see. And here's the magic of cameras. Boom. So there's the set screw right there. And we can kind of see how high up this is sticking right here. It's about 3 millimeters above the bed. This is hard to judge right here because of the angle we're at. So let me go ahead and where are my wearers? I never did find that little flipping plug connector I dropped last night, but I did find a place that sells them for 17 cents each. I'm going to try and get down there tomorrow. And I don't have to pay shipping because I can pick it up. So let's loosen this set screw. Is it moving? Here we go. Let's loosen that set screw off. Let's just loosen it right off. See, but that's kind of bottoming out on the... Or is there 2 set screws on this thing? Is there 2? I thought there was only the 1. Let's see if I can get in there further with my... That's a tight squeeze for my hand. I can probably get in there a little easier with this one. There we go. Let's pull this out. There we go. Okay, so... Well, I guess I could try flipping it. Okay, so that's what we've got. It's pre-cut there, of course, because we want it so it doesn't fall down. But if I flip it, let's just see. I guess I could flip it. That is a little lower, isn't it? Or is it? If we go to the other camera, it's still a good... Let's grab the 1 millimeter feeler here. There's the 1 millimeter. I'll get that flat on the bed. It's better. It's about half the space, so it's maybe about 2 millimeters now. Yeah, the cut needs to be the other way. So I'm thinking, yeah, because the set screws, if we look here, the set screw's not going to actually hit it there because of where the cut is now. That's triggering the switch right now. So I'm thinking what I need to do, so that's got to go in that way, kind of that way for the set screw so this doesn't come popping out. But I'm thinking I need to just trim a little bit off the end of that. Because yeah, just sitting there, let me just look at this. Let's go to the Brio again. And if we can get that thing to focus a little bit right back there. It wants to focus on everything behind it. There it is there. So if I want it to be 0.5 millimeter, which is what he suggested, there's a 0.5 millimeter right here. But I think this is what's causing my issue. There's a 0.5 millimeter, and it's definitely sticking up at least an extra 2 millimeters there, 2 to 3 millimeters. And the issue I'm having, the error I'm getting, says that it's something to do with an offset error, and it's a 3-point-something millimeter offset error, and it's allowed to be 1 machine millimetered off. Now, the other thing I could do is I could take it off the other end that's going to hit the switch, so that I don't affect the flat end here. I could take it off the other end. I only need to take about 2 millimeters off, which isn't much, which would drop that a little bit, but I'd still be able to catch it with a set screw. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Either that, or if there's somehow I could lower this, but I cannot lower, oops, wrong camera. I can't lower this any. Whereas if I took a millimeter or 2 off this end, it would still catch the switch down below, and I'd still be able to get that set screw in, I think. I don't know. Because I think that may be the issue. I cannot figure out, I can't get that error to go away otherwise, and I do have the config file configured correct that I know of. Okay. I just got a message. As long as it's very flat where I do it, it's your pick in the head. Okay, I'm just going to say okay. I've got to go put her sweater and hang her sweater. Can you see the config file? Yeah. Let me go ahead. Let me just get off this camera so I don't. And let me find the config file. Did I power that? Let me power the printer up and I'll fire up the config file and show you. I have no problem cutting it. I got a bench vise and I've got a Dremel with a cutting tool that I could cut this. But yeah, this is nicely machined. I would not want to do the top, although I wouldn't be too. I almost just have to take it off after the bevel, and then I could re-bevel it. But it'd be a shame to have to mar this. Anyways, let me get this fired up, and I'll show you here. There we are here. Let's go ahead and refresh the page. There it is here. Okay, let's get the screen up here under machine, and it is the Auto Z config file. I don't know how well you can see that. So we've got our nozzle XY position set. We've got our switch XY position set, and those are working fine. We tested those. We got our bed XY, 150, 150 in the middle of the bed. And then we've got our switch offset at 0.6. That actually should be set to 0.5. I have to check and see exactly what kind of switch I have because I don't know. I could always take this apart and see, but and then our maximum deviation is 1. And it's the maximum allowed deviation of the calculated offset. If the offset exceeds this value, it will stop. And it was exceeding that value. It was going to 3-point-something, the offset. That's why I think I needed to lower that pin a little bit. With clicky, aren't you calibrating the microswitch actuation point to the body of the microswitch? Something on the order of 0.5. Yes, the body of the microswitch. That's why, yeah, this should be 0.5. I think I had it at 0.6 last night just to try things. Let me save and close that and we'll reopen it. Yeah, but it should be about 0.5. And it is activating to the body of the microswitch when it does that for the Z calibration. And then we didn't change anything. We kept the speed where it was and the probing. Then we have our G-code attached probe, dock probe, etc., which is all working fine, but we're exceeding that maximum deviation of 1. So yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna be back in 2 seconds. I just gotta go hang a sweater up. You can have a peek at that if you want and give it a thought. Okay. Deviation. So you're saying change my deviation to 1.5? I'd have to have it higher than that for it not to error out. Let me show you. Were you here last night? Oh, with Clicky, aren't you calibrating the micro? Yeah. Were you here last night, 6Alter, or were either one of you guys here last night and saw that error I was getting? I can reproduce that error easy. No problem. Let me go ahead and tighten this. Is this the key I use? No. It's 2 millimeter right here. Let me go ahead and tighten this back in. I'll show you. I'm just going to go ahead and let's go to this camera. I'm just going to go ahead and tighten this set screw back on so that this doesn't fall out. Leave it so it's running. Okay, there we go. So we're still working fine there. Okay, I'll go ahead and show you. Yeah, it's still nice and movable. Let's get that camera out of the way. And let's fire. So I'm going to home it. I got to home it and do the quad gantry level. And then we'll just do the Z calibration and see. I'll do it with a cold bed right now. It doesn't matter. Okay, so let's home everything. Right, let me zoom in on that camera a bit here. There we go. There we go. Okay, let me do the quad gantry level. This goes around 4 times, I think. Let me just... Okay. Did I do my end stop calibrate before the auto Z? I don't know. Is it actually called an end stop calibrate? I went through the I've been going through the initial startup guide, and then I got to the point where I was ready to do my auto Z calibrate. We verified the heaters. We checked all the stepper motors. XY homing check, we did. We configured the motors. I had to swap the A and B plugs because I was going the wrong way. And then we did our bed locating. And we did our ZN stop pin location calibration, yes. And now we've just got the dock in there. So now we're ready to go ahead and run the calibrate Z. Quad gantry level we went through, which we're doing right now. We just did that. And I've got the mesh. The mesh calibration is fine. And then Z offset adjustment. I'm not worrying about Z offset adjustment because we're doing automatic Z calibration. It's for height. Now, is there a procedure I should run? Let's just see here. Okay, maybe that's a Z offset adjustment. And I did run my PID tuning. So we've done PID on the bed and the hot end. ZN stop calibrate. Okay, maybe I should do the ZN stop calibration. Okay, well, I did not do the ZN stop calibration first before we're trying to do the Z. I'm confused here, but no, I didn't go through the ZN stop Z offset alignment yet because we skipped right to the auto Z calibration. And maybe that's the problem. So make it to the center of the bed, about 5 on Z, and then type Z and stop calibrate. Okay, well, let me try. Let me bring the Z down to about 5 millimeters. So that's going to be G90, and then we're going to go G0, Z5. Okay, so Z5, and it's higher than 5 millimeters, but we're pretty close to the bed here. So we'll do that. Now we'll do Z end stop calibration. End stop calibrate. Okay. Starting manual Z probe. Use test Z to adjust position. Okay, so we need to do test Z. I just want to get that code right. Test Z, Z equals, if I'm not, so yeah, test Z, Z equals. See you live. You see me, if you see me live, you can hear me. Maria is texting me saying, I see you live. There's just a few of us on here and I'm just fiddling around with this, but I got your sweater on the dryer, or your sweater's hung up. It's not hung up, it's laid out flat. It's clean now. That's done. And I know you're going to order some dim sum. If you see me live, you can type in chat. You can tell me, you can boss me around in chat if you want. The guys will get a kick out of that, but you're not a bossy person, so you wouldn't do that. Okay, test Z, Z equals. So let's go ahead and do that. Test, this is an informal live, by the way, just for everybody knows that. Test Z, Z equals minus 0, minus 1. Let's see what this does. Oh, test, I said text Z, test Z, Z equals minus 1. Helps if I spell correctly instead of text. I'm not texting my Z. So we'll go down until this hits the bed. Okay, and let's just repeat that one because we've got a little bit of room to go yet. Yeah, we've got a long ways to go yet. Let me just repeat. I just want to do one at a time. Yeah, actually, I'm going to change that to minus 4 for this one. There we go. Now we're close. Okay, now we're going to go 0.5. Okay, and now we're going to go minus 0.1 until we hit the bed. And there we go. Okay, we're almost there. And we are, yeah, we got enough of a grip there, I'd say. Hello, Maria. See, you are listening. You can type, and it's an informal stream. Say hi to the boys. Hello, apprentice. Do that until the paper is barely tugging like normal. If you tug like, yeah. I mean, I could go down another, what the heck, another 0.05. And that's where I would set my Z offset right there. Okay, so now we're going to hit accept, I believe. Accept. And then we're going to have to save config. Okay, we're going to restart. There we go. Now we'll try now. Maybe that's what I didn't do. Maybe that's what I didn't do. So let's go ahead and home it. We'll do our quad gantry level again. I've been told to do the quad gantry level every time. And then we'll try the calibrate Z again and see what happens. At least the clicky probe's working great. Maybe this was the issue. We'll see. I needed to do that first. Okay, save me a little bit of grinding and filing and stuff. Man, I got a shiny bald head. Nice set of little feeler calipers, $3 for this nice set of calipers, and it goes from of feelers. It goes from 0.02 millimeters to 1 millimeter. Like, it's got all sorts of. This is great for setting Z offsets and stuff. I can set it to whatever I want. They're great. A little greasy, but for $3, hey, gotta love Princess Auto. Okay. I'm still bugged about that connector I lost last night. I'm still bugged about it. It's here somewhere. It's here. Whether it's on the floor. Anyways, okay. Okay, quad gantry level's done. We've parked the probe. Let's go ahead and do a calibrate Z, or Z calibration. Z calibration. Unknown command. Z calibrate. Oops. That's not the right command. I think it's calibrate Z. Is it calibration? Z calibration? Calibrate Z. There it is. Calibrate Z. Let's see what happens. Okay, so the first thing it's going to do is go back and probe the nozzle. Oops. We're probing the nozzle. Okay. Then we're going to move ahead. And we're going to probe the switch, but not the switch itself, the body of the switch. There we go. Now we're coming to the middle of the bed. Oh, that's definitely going. Okay, and it's going to probe the bed. Okay, put the switch back. Now, how I was told to test this was to now go get the paper out again, do a G90. There we go, G90. G90, not GG90, G90. Put it into absolute mode or whatever. Then G0. Z. I think I can go Z20, Z5. Okay. G0, Z2. Oh, this might be good. Okay, G0, Z1. G0, Z.5. Oh, a little too tight, so we're going to go G0, Z minus 0.2. Well, a little less now. G0, Z, oh, not minus 0.2, Z 0.7. There we are. G0, Z 0.6. G0, Z. There we go. What was that noise? It's almost like a video. So right there, that's right there, and that's a G0, Z 0.5. And I didn't get that error last time, come to think of it. Yeah, that error didn't come up last time that did last night. So change the 0.6 to 0.45. Are you saying in the config file, Zixelter, in the config file, change it to 0.045? This seems to be okay here. That's perfect height right there. Now, do I have to hit accept on this or save config? No, I can't. It doesn't say accept, but do I do a save config here? Huh. I'm just wondering if I got to do a save config. Here, let me get this camera up here. Because we're at the perfect height right now. And I'm just going back to that video I was watching. No, that's not what the video I was watching. I don't want to watch that video. It was this video. And when he went to the... I was going to check and see what he did on this one when he finally found these numbers. Printers, print prints for printers, then printers, print prints for printed projects. What's going on here? Mounting supplies to your machine actually makes a lot of... Shut up, Zach. Where are you? You said, yes, it will fix that auto offset. It'll change. Don't save yet. Don't save yet. So if I don't save it yet, what do I do? So that's the proper offset right there.
Now, move the print head out to the center G90 to get into absolute position. And just to make sure it looks okay, it does. And now I try Z1, so it's 1 millimeter above. Again, I check it, no head crash or anything. I try 0.5, seems to be okay. Everything's looking reasonable. I try 0.2, it's just barely above the piece of paper. And when I try 0.1, I can feel the paper just barely touching. If you need the nozzle to be closer to the bed, go into this Auto ZCFG and modify the switch offset. Notice I mentioned earlier I started at 0.50. I had to bump it up to 0.52. The higher the number, closer to the bed, lower the number, farther away from the bed. And then hit save and close, restart Clipper, and then you can go back and home, level the bed or make sure the bed is level, and then go ahead and run the Calibrate Z, and then enter G90 mode and try that test again with a test piece of paper or a feeler gauge, and until you get the effect or the consistency you're looking for. And then once you're done, that's it. No matter what temperature, it'll work.
Okay, so he is saying to save the configuration. It could have changed. If you run the print start, it will change to the surface every time. Okay, so he says to save. So let me save it. Okay, and we'll run the test one more time. And we should get the same number, which was 0.5. Z 0.5 is the ultimate offset. So let's go ahead and home. And then we'll do the test. Then there's a test to do. The ultimate test is when, as he says, the ultimate test is we change the thickness of the bed. And then we run the Z calibrate again, and it should work. So, okay. But at least we're not coming up with that same error as last night, and that's because I did what you said and did the Z offset calibration first. Wow. Pretty cool. Okay. Okay. And I happen to have I have an ultimate test piece for the bed. Okay, let's calibrate Z now. Takes a little bit of patience doing all this testing, but it's worth it. Okay, we're probing the nozzle. Okay, now we're probing the switch. I'm actually at 0.5 right now. I may have to change that to point. So the higher the number, the lower the nozzle. So, but my number in the config is set to 0.5 and my offset is actually 0.5. We'll see what this comes up with this time. So if we go ahead and put the paper in here, we do G90, and we do G0, Z5. Okay, G0, Z1. Okay, G0, Z.6. Okay, G0, Z.5. And that's exactly the same. So that worked. That's exactly the same. That maybe even be a little tight. G0, Z.52. That's a little better. That's a little better. I don't want to squish it too much. G0, Z.51. G0, Z.53. I went the wrong way. That's better. Yeah, I like that better. It's easier to explain. So, but the 0.5 you're talking. So my Z. So I think what you're saying is that right now with my perfect height right here, my Z should be at 0. Is that what you're saying? That I should be at Z0 right now. I think that's what you're trying to say. You're always welcome to hop on the stream if you want. If you're able to hop on the stream, I could pop you the link. But I think I know what you're saying. Yeah, Z0 is the goal. Okay, so if Z0 being the goal, let me okay, so let me get out of here. Let me get out of here. Let me restart here. So this is where it'll get a little confusing. So if I go to the machine and I go to my auto config Z, my offset I have at 0.5 now. So the higher the number, the lower the nozzle. So right now my nozzle is going a little bit too low, because if I go Z0 right now, I'm digging into the bed. So if I don't want to dig into the bed, I want my nozzle a bit higher. So I want this number to be a tad lower. So maybe like 0.45. That's my reasoning. Is 0.45 is going to cause the nozzle to be a little higher. Now that 0.5 is pretty much where my perfect Z offset is right now. So if I go 0.45, let's try it. Can't hurt. But I see exactly what you mean now. Okay, let's go through the process one more time here. But I do see your point. And I know how frustrating it can be to try and explain something to somebody and you don't think they're getting it. I get it now. I think it's just kind of clicked. So we'll go through that process one more time with that offset at 0.45. Theoretically, that should make me bring my nozzle closer to the bed to get Z0. Worst case scenario is I got to go up the other way. Yeah. Yeah, just like your example there, if I'm at 0.6 and Z0 is digging into the bed, I'd want to lower it to 0.5. Well, I was at 0.5, so I think 0.45 is good because it wasn't digging into the bed. Z0 would have, but it was only by about a 0.5 millimeter. And once this gets kind of calibrated, then we should be good to go. Then I'll test it with a thicker bed. Yeah. This is why it takes patience, right? It's trial and error here. That's why I've read some people don't like this automatic Z offset, but I think it's worth it to go through the work up front to get the results you want, and then that way it's done. The only time it's really going to switch is if I put a new switch on or if I put a new probe pin on, which no reason to right now. So as long as my switch and probe pin are the same size in the same spot, we should be good. Okay, so now we've got to go calibrate Z. Let's see what happens. Yes, it's automatic. So it's worth taking the extra time. Even if I have to do this 12 times, it's worth taking the time to do it. I hear footsteps upstairs. Maria coming down to get her food. Okay, here we're going to probe the probe. Probe the switch, I mean. Okay, here we come. Get rid of the probe, get the paper. Okay, G90. Now I know I can at least go G0, Z1, because I know it's going to be at least 1. I trust that. Now we'll go G0, Z.5. Okay. Oh, we're starting to grip, but not as tight. G0, Z.4. See, and that's gripping. Okay, so let's get that up off the bed. So we got to do that again. We're going to change that number. So we'll go into the printer config. And we'll just make, not the printer config, auto Z config, and we'll change that to, because that was touching at 0.4 versus 0.6. So if we went down 0.2, we got to go down 0.3 more. So I'm going to say I'm going to go 0.38. In my head, 0.38 is the number. And the scary thing about this is it's all starting to make sense to me. It's all math. It's basically mathematics is what's happening here. Okay. Let's go at it. When I start to understand stuff like this, it scares me. Okay, quad. The only thing I'm going to need to learn too is startup G code and ending G code with the macros, and how to point to the macros in my startup and ending G code that it's going to do all this calibration and bed mesh leveling when I start a print. That's kind of, I'm sure I can figure it out, but that's what you guys are out there for, to help me with. I like this clicky probe. Not even, you got me. I know you do, Zixelter. You do. You've been fabulous, and I appreciate it. I hear people put clicky probes on their zeros, on their 01s, but I just think the bed is too small to need a clicky probe on the 01. I've not had a problem with mesh on that. I just level it, and it's good. The bed is so small. Okay. There we go. Let's go calibrate Z now. See what we can do here. Let's see if my guess at 0.38 was correct. Slow and steady. At the rate I'm going, I'll wear out my clicky probe dock. No. I should have printed it out of carbon fiber. Oh, it's okay. It's all good. Oh, okay, now we're probing the switch. The suspense is killing me. One more. Go home, clicky. I love this clicky thing. It is slicker than owl shit. Okay. See how we did. G90. Enter G0, Z1. Okay, G0, Z.5. Oh, I think we're good. G90, G0, Z.2. Oh, 0.2 is a little tight. So I got to go lower on that number. Okay, so we went to 38. 0.2 is too tight. 0.4, 0.2. I'm taking entries in the number. So 0.38. Yours was 0.375. I'm going to go 0.35. You might say, no, don't do that. My gut tells me 0.35. We're going to go with 0.35. Why do I have a notification? Changes to include behavior. The behavior of Moonrakers include directives of change. Include directives are now parsed and whatever. Tell me about it, Moonraker. Okay, here we go. We'll go through this once more. 335? Is that what you're guessing is 335? I went 35. If 35 is still not right, I'll go 335. We'll see. Oh, there's the delivery guy. I think. Oh, quad. Is that our delivery guy? Maria, are you still online? Maria. I think that's Maria's food is here. Maria, your food is coming to the door. Eight people watching. You're the only one chatting, Zixelter. Oh, there's Alice. There we go. Could just pull your samples down to 2. Add some retries. Huh? Could just pull your samples down to 2. Add some retries. That's some like Voron lingo. Okay. For the probe. Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, here we go. Let's see what we get. This seems to be getting faster. Is it just me, or does it seem faster every time? G90, G0, Z.5. I'm going to get real gutsy here. No, that was too low. G0, Z1. Okay. G90, G0, Z2. Okay, let me go down. Maybe I went down too quick. For the probe samples. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. See, now we're too low. Now we're too low. What did I change? Did I go too far? What do I change that probe samples to 2? Because really, does it need 5? Machine. That would be the clicky probe. Oh no, that wouldn't be where I'm looking. That would be the variables, wouldn't it? Oh no, that would be under the auto Z config. Samples default from probe samples. The number of times a probe to probe each point. The probe Z values will be averaged. The default is from the probe's configuration. I'm doing calibrate Z right now. I could on comments. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. I could bring samples on. Wonder if that would work. Let's try this. I found it's doing a lot. And samples, I'm going to put down samples 2. See if that does anything. I'm going to change 33536. And we're going to save and restart. See if I get an error from what I put that samples to. Oh no, it's working. So it should only sample twice now. You would do it live. I'm trying to get it so I don't have to do any Z calibration, period. Ten samples, 2 samples result. Median sample retract distance, 2 samples tolerance, 0, 1 samples tolerance. That's Greek. Which config file was that in? Why are you hesitating? I was probably waiting for the data to catch up or something. Printer config under probe. Yeah, I'll have to see if it's in under the printer config. I'll go through this. Okay, let's do the calibrate Z here, and we'll just try and get this number found. So this might actually, let's see if this works. Let's see if this just does two probes instead of the 5. Oh no. Yeah, it just did the 2. Not that that makes any difference. Speed 500. Oh, okay. It's interesting that it probes and gets very insignificant difference, but gets different readings for each time it probes. Okay, let's try this again. G90, G0, Z5. Okay, G0, Z3, G0, Z1. Okay, G0, Z.7, G0, Z.5, okay, G0, Z.3, and we're just snug there on 0.3. Yay caramba. Okay. I'm going to go back up to Zixelter's number of 0.335. Let's go into here and let's go to your number, Zixelter, of 0.335. Save and restart. Now, if this is right and this works, don't let your head get too swollen. Let's try it. Let's go. Let's go for it. Let's just get this calibration done. I will bow down to you if this is correct. Yeah, see, the thing I like about this Alistar is, from what people are telling me here, is that I can change my nozzle, I can change my bed, and I never have to calibrate the Z. It'll do it. It'll be right. And I've watched videos of people that have proven it. So that's kind of the exciting part to me, to go through all this work so that I can flip and put a different bed on here and not have to calibrate my Z again. I'm all for that. Well, the quad gantry leveling is getting quicker. Okay, here we go. Let's see if you're right here, Zixelter. I think I want a new piece of paper. I think the paper's the problem. Where's my paper pad? Oh, where'd I put my pad of paper? There it is. Okay. How do I know if I've got the squish right? Well, I can probably still live adjust Z, like baby step, but that's why we're getting that's why we're calibrating this to find my perfect Z0 point. G90, G0, Z5. Let's come down to 5. G0, Z2. I know we got to come down in small increments because it's the way to do it. G0, Z1, G0, Z.6, G0, Z.4. Ooh, G0, Z.3. Oh, we're still gripping on 0.3. We're still gripping on 0.3. Okay, we're going to do one more. I don't know if I'm that much of a perfectionist. I have to get it to 0, but hey. Okay, let's do one more. Let's go in. So we're at 0.335. I'm just going to go right for it and go 0.3. We're going to go for it at 0.3. No, 0.365 is going to too much squish. Too much squish. I think this is it. 0.3 is it. Well, at least the quad gantry leveling is going stupid fast now. I think it only went around twice the last time. Let's just see what these readings are. Oh, I think we're going to be okay this time. 302, 303, 303, 303, 299, 299. No, it's going to be two. Oh, yeah, no, it's okay. We're at 0.00625. Tolerance is 0.0075 on the quad. Hey, Maker Viking Thomas, how is it going with you? Okay, let's do our Z calibrate. Calibrate Z. 0.0075 variance in the bed is pretty good. Here we go. Probably better off staring at this than at that screen anyways. Okay. Come to the middle of the bed. Probe. Buzz, 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 buzz. This has got to be right. I'm not staying up till midnight doing this. Getting some sleep soon, hopefully. Haha. Stop watching streams. Tolerate will get better after heat soaks. Yeah. Okay. Let's just do this again. G90, G0, Z5, G0, Z3, G0, Z1. Okay. G0, Z.6, G0, Z.5, G0, Z.4. G0, whoops, Z.3. Oh, see, it's better. That's much better on 0.3. I think I'm just going to leave it. I know to get it to 0 is, or do I have to get it to 0? It doesn't seem to be making a lot of difference as I move that number down. And as you say, a heat soak is going to do a little bit on that. Hey, Joe Velasco, how are you? I'm going to save this config right now for now. I could just be... I haven't done a heat soak on the bed yet. Apparently turn the bed up to, what, about 100 and leave it there for about a half an hour. But I do want to try one thing here. Now that we've got all this calibration pretty much straight, I may be okay. Yeah, I'm going to save config and try it like this. And again, the beauty of it is I can go in and change this anytime. I can run this calibrate Z anytime and change that number. I want to try a bed mesh calibrate, bed mesh. I want to see what my height map looks like now. Did I get a good night's sleep last night? I did. It wasn't bad. I got at least 6 hours last night, which is good. Which is good for me. If I get 6 hours or more, I'm okay. Although, you know, there's the odd time where I only get 4 hours of sleep in the night, and I'm so wide awake the next day. It's so weird. I think my body's just all frigged up. I like the fact that it's got a very, very, very tight tolerance for the quad gantry level. Like we're speaking 1/100th or 7/100ths of a millimeter. It won't accept anything less than that. 110 with panels for 30 minutes. Okay, I haven't got the panels put on yet, so I got to. My goal is to print the panel parts on this. I haven't printed the panel parts yet. I'll just do it without the panels for now, and then I can do it after when I get the panels on. Okay, what's our tolerance going to be now after this quad gantry here? I'm going to say it's going to be 0.0032. 0.0025. Wow, that's 2/1000ths of a 002 is 2 thou. So it's in 2/1000ths, 2 thou. Yeah, 2 thou level. So now bed mesh. I think that's called mesh calibrate. No, bed mesh. Mesh. What's the command for mesh? G, or is that a G29? G29. No. I think I got it. Or did I? No, all I did was home. What is the mesh? Okay, take care, Thomas. Thanks for popping in and saying hello. I forget the command for mesh. I got to learn these. I know it's going to make a difference with a heated bed, but hey, what the heck. Bed mesh calibrate. Look at that. Thank you. I left out the bed part. There we go. Yeah, G29 didn't work. It's got to be bed mesh calibrate. That's what the macro set up as. I just want to see what my height map looks like when this is done. Travel on this one's nice and fast. How do those guys get when you see the videos, when you see the 2.4s just going, it's pretty cool. That's my technical term. Some macro they run to show off the speed of the thing or how fast it can go. I know I'll have worn out my belt before I get my first printout, Joe. Belts are cheap though, which is good, but I don't want to have to rerun these belts anytime soon. They're nice and snug though. Yeah. See if my height map looks as good as it did before. Boy, these are all very tight tolerances on this bed mesh probe too. They're not that far off. 8.44, 8.44, 8.46. One sample is a bad idea. You'll send the macro, no doubt. I just think that's wild to see how fast they go. Okay, let's just see. Okay, let's have a look at the height map. It's not bad. I mean, it looks awful in that sense, but when you figure that it's a 1/10 of a millimeter here nor there, no, not even that, 0.9, yeah, less than 1/10 of a millimeter off overall. We've got one little peak right here, 205 millimeters, and the low is 0.048, 0.034, 0.22. It's hard to imagine when you think about it. You look at this, how thick this bed is, and it looks, I mean, this looks terrible, but it's not. That's not bad overall, I don't think. You know, if I look at the flat and compare it to the flat, and if I look at the mesh, yeah. But I bet I could still get a pretty darn good first layer out of that. No, this is a 300. This is a 300 Alistar. Yeah, heat will help a lot. Yeah, definitely. Actually, I could heat up the bed here. What are we at? We're getting a bit late for what I want to do. All I wanted to do tonight was get that, figure out that Z calibration, which we did thanks to Zexelter there and the fact that I missed that one major step. A hammer will take care of that high spot. There you go, Joe. It makes it look high on this mesh, on this height map, but it's not bad. Really, actually, it's only, that's the high point, which is, what color is that? That's probably in this range right about here. So we're speaking 0.3 of a millimeter. If that, we're not quite in the high red, which is 1/10 of a millimeter. We're down around, oh yeah, we're down in around here. So 3 to 4/10 of a millimeter, which is nothing considering you think about your first layer is 0.4. So that's going to be nothing. And then the low spot, really, there's no, maybe 1/10 of a millimeter on the low spot. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. Compared to my rat rig bed, oh, the rat rig bed was a little worse because, mind you, it's a 500 millimeter bed and it's not as thick as this one. And as Exalter said there, once I heat this up, it'll probably level that out even a bit more. So I can go ahead right now and save this mesh. I don't mind that. I'll just save config. We're good with that. I've come a long way. I honestly didn't think I'd be this far ahead at this point, but I need to get working on the covers. But I want to print the cover pieces on here. So yeah. Oh, I was going to test the. What am I doing? Let me go ahead and do this. I want to test the Z calibration. I want to give it that one final test. And the way I'm testing it is I'm just slapping a piece of polycarbonate sheet on top of the bed. Okay, we're going to pretend that's my bed. We're going to do a quad gantry level with this on it. Then we're going to test that Z offset, the Z calibration, and see if it works. So we're just going to, we've thickened the bed by about 1.5 millimeters. Oh, probe triggered prior to movement. Oh, the probe fell off. Or did it? No, Oh, this is too thick. I get it. Okay. Are we done yet? Yeah, it's done. It's done already, Jason. Let me park the probe. Maybe that was too thick for it. Or there was a high spot on this. Actually, I wonder if I could sneak this under the bed. If I sneak it under and then put the bed on, see if this works. Okay, take care, Excelter. Thank you so much. Appreciate all the help tonight. Okay, let's see if this works. No, Jason, we just got the Z off, the Z calibration, the Calibrate Z all set up. So I'm putting a thicker bed on to see if it actually works. Okay, so quad gantry level. Well, that bed is too thick. Okay, so it's triggering the probe. Either that or it's not. Yeah, that's too thick. So much for that theory, but nobody's ever going to have a bed that thick unless you put carbonium glass on there. Then I'd have to totally alter the concept of reality in order to do that. Come on. There we go. Anyways, we're good for now. My Z height for QBL isn't high enough. Ooh, good point. Let's go look at that. Quad gantry, that is going to be in the clicky config. G-code quad gantry level. Oh, that's going to be in my printer config, isn't it? Or is that in my variables? No, that's no, the variable's got nothing. The variable is my dock location and my probe. It's got to be in the printer config. And let me find quad. And let me find that spot. Quad gantry leveling. Z offset 0. Y offset 25. Sample retract distance. Okay, which one do I adjust here to make that higher? You could up quad gantry level, horizontal move Z. Quad gantry level. There we are. Corners, points, horizontal move Z. There we are. Horizontal move Z. I should up that number. So if I up that to 15, 5 millimeters, even 2 millimeters should work. Well, we'll go to 13. Horizontal move Z, 13. Speed 100. I could actually up that speed a little bit too, I'm sure. Okay, let's see what that does. Let's see what that does. Let's home y'all here. Home it. Let's put this back on it. Okay, let's see what the quad gantry level does now. Oh, here we go. Let's see if it does that. Oh yeah, much better. Yep, that did the trick, Alistair. Thank you. That did the trick. Yeah. Just that extra 3 millimeters. Probably good to have that clearance anyways. Learning all this new stuff. Every night I'm learning something new from all you guys. Okay. Are we done yet? No, this will be the last one. Tolerance was 008, and I need a tolerance of 007. This should do it. This is just like the rat rig when it does it for its tri. No, it's tri, whatever. It's not quad. It would be tri-gantry leveling. There we go. Okay. Now we go to calibrate Z and see what happens. Look at that clicky go. So we should calibrate. If it comes down to this print surface as a 0.3 Z offset, we should be good. That means it worked. Okay. Oops, got to let it probe the bed first. So now it's going to probe the bed. It's going to detect a thicker bed. And it's going to do the math for that thicker bed and say, okay, I have to adjust the Z offset by this amount to allow for that extra thickness in the bed. Rat rig trams the bed, Voron trams the gantry. Okay, perfect. Okay, so now this should be around 0.3 for a Z offset. So let's go G90. No, offset is larger than allowed. Oh, okay, so the bed is too thick. I've just added weight. Well, the problem is that this is, I've added an unrealistic thickness to the bed. So I've got the error now that says offset is larger as allowed. Offset is 2.488, and the maximum deviation set is 1.00. Yeah. Oh no, I'm just not calibrating Z again. I'm just testing the calibration, Chuck. I put a thicker bed on to test the calibration, but I put an unrealistically thick layer on top of the bed. So what it's done is it's taken it out of my maximum deviation amount now because I put such a thick bed on. Whereas if I would have just taken this and replaced this bed with it, it would probably be fine. So let's just see. Let's home this again. I'm not going to save the calibration. I'm just testing it. But if I take this bed off, let's see. Okay, yeah, so this is definitely significantly thicker. Oops. So that's definitely thicker. So if I, because realistically what I did is I made the bed way too thick. So let's just go through this process one more time. Yeah, no, I'm not going to recalibrate it. I'm just doing a test to see, okay, I've put a new bed on or a different bed. Is it going to actually do what it's supposed to do? Okay, let's do the quad gantry here. This doesn't even magnetize on it. It's just sort of sitting there. I just want to see if it works. But it's not moving it. It's not going anywhere when it probes. I'm just simulating. I'm basically just simulating putting a different bed on. Is all I'm trying to do here. Am I using stock Z stop or a sex bolt? Stock Z stop is what I'm using, or a sex bolt. What's a sex bolt? It's got a little pin hitting a switch, hitting a micro switch. Well, this might be good the first go around. No, it's got to go a second time. We're at 946, 947. 946, 946, 946, and 946. So this might be good the first go around. Look at that. It is too. Good, only had to go around once. Okay, now let's go ahead and calibrate. Oops. Z. We'll just see if it comes. Same thing, but different. Yeah, exactly. I just want to see if it's going to do what it's supposed to do when I switch beds. And then obviously it'll do the same thing if I switch nozzles. So I kind of think I know what I'm starting to figure out what I'm doing. Some things I still, people are out there probably watching, scratching their head going, what the is he doing? But hey, just me. I think this is because I watched that video that was linked from that GitHub page, and he said to do a test. Change the bed, ran this test again, made sure that it went down to the same Z offset. Didn't save it because, well, if I was, I didn't need to save it. Don't need to save it once it's done. G90, G0, Z5, G0, Z3, G0, Z1. No, that's a little too close. So I'm not even going to save that. I might have messed up my calibration. I don't know. We're going to leave it at that for now. I think what happens, I find if you bring your head down too quick, like if I would have gone down to 0.5 immediately, it would have gone right down too far. And I don't know why that is, but I would think that if you're giving it a specific location, it should hit that specific location. If everything is as it should be. Okay, well, I'm almost ready. Let's bring, what are you doing? Come on, I want to come forward 25. Come on. What I need to do, what I've got to do really before I don't have to, I don't even have a filament holder on it yet, but I can probably heat it up and do some, do my E-step calibration and everything. But I need to run, I forgot to run my LED cables from my head. So I have to run these LED cables. Now, it came with 3 cables, with a 3-cable plug, and there's only 2 wires going into the head, into the PCB. Only 2 cables going into the PCB. One of those cables is labeled LED, and the other one is labeled F5, or is that signal? I think it's just an F5. So yeah, and I'm not 100% sure how that's going to work. But then I've got to figure out how to run the I got to then run that cable through all my chains. And I'm going to try and do it without taking these apart. I don't want to have to, because obviously the lock is on the bottom, yada, yada, yada. I don't want to have to take these apart to run this through. I'm hoping I can just kind of feed it through a link at a time. I know it's going to take forever, but I'd rather not have to take all these apart because I've got them all so nicely laid out and configured here now. So, yeah. But other than that, I'm the covers, I think I'm ready to print something. Now, I don't need the LEDs to light up on the head in order to print, but I want them to. So, something I got to do. But I was going to do it last night, but I had the 2-pin JST Mini, whatever this is called. Anyways, I had the 2-pin one and I dropped it. I lost it. I lost it in here last night. And for the life of me, can't find it. So I found an electronics store, local electronics store that has them for 12 or 17 cents a piece. So I got to go pick one of them up. It's just hard to justify driving 9 kilometers for a 12-cent piece. But I have a delivery down that way tomorrow for my business. So while I'm down there, I'm going to stop by it's called B&E Electronics. Funny name for an electronics store, B&E. It's called B&E Electronics, and they do have the plug I need, the clip I need. So what's going to happen is I'm going to get that clip, Then when I get home with that clip, I'm going to find the one I dropped or lost. It's been annoying me for 24 hours. Anyways, those of you that are just joined, I've been printing these really cool things called Gridfinity from Zach Friedman. I don't know if you guys have seen that video on it, but it's pretty cool. It's these Gridfinity boxes. I've only got a couple printed so far. Whoops. But they're really cool. So I printed the one for measuring the bolts. So you can measure your size of your bolts in this one here, and then I just printed the one for my drivers, and then I'm going to print a bunch more. I want to try and organize my tools. I love his little system there, and the fact that he's made it open source. It's awesome, and they interlock with each other. I don't have another one printed right now, but it would stack, and they interlock, and you can get the little trays for them. It is such a cool system. If you haven't seen it, check out Zach Friedman's YouTube and watch it on the Gridfinity. Yeah, it is awesome, and I'm excited to print a whole bunch. I've downloaded a crap load of the files, because if you can see my drawers here, well, okay, for instance, there's one of my drawers. I mean, look how organized that is. If I get a Gridfinity in here, for some reason I have some, yeah, anyways, get a Gridfinity in here and I can organize this drawer. And then then there's my drawer of snippers and crimpers and stuff. Again, everything is all over the place. And don't talk to me about screws and bolts. That's my screw and bolt collection. So the Gridfinity packages for the screws and bolts are awesome. So yeah, I'm working on that for sure. I'm gonna do a bunch of those. I picked up some black licorice today, black and red licorice. Whoops. So these are going to be for covering my wires, my LED wires. I've got these to plug on. I couldn't determine if I want a black or red. This stuff was only $2 a meter, so I think the red with the black and gold might look kind of sharp on that. I don't know, with the space gray. And red is the DeWitt color, so hey, you never know. So I got enough of this to make a choice of black or red or combine both. So there we go. Dirt cheap, that stuff. And you know what? Do you keep losing? Anybody keep losing their 8 gigabyte micro SD cards? I've read good about Gigastone, and there's some 8 gig cards. I think there's 10 in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it was like $12 for 10 of them. And yeah, got decent reviews. So some micro SD cards. There we go. Well, I'm going to call it quits. I'm going to say goodnight. Jason, thank you for popping in. Keep an eye on the same place, same time, maybe, I don't know, tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. I don't know. We'll see what happens. No, we might be going out tomorrow. We're going to see some balloons tomorrow. There's a balloon festival going on in Calgary, just outside of Calgary this weekend. And I don't mean like balloons like, I mean hot air balloons that people fly in. So it's going to be pretty cool. So everybody, I'm just looking for my closing window. Everybody take care, and I'll talk to you guys next time I'm live. We've done good today on this, and we're making progress. We're going to be pretty close to printing. Did I show you guys the coolest thing, though, before I go? Watch this. I can watch what I make it do. Look, ready, set, go. It's going to light up. Is that the coolest thing or what? The lights are working. Woohoo. Anyways. Small things amuse small minds. So what can I say? I'm guilty of that. So thanks, Jason. I think it looks great. I can't decide if I want black or red inserts to cover my wires, but we'll see. I just can't wait to print on it. So anyways, I wish everybody this camera, adios and good night. And why do I keep missing my screen? There we go. And we'll talk to all you guys later. Have a good night. Sleep well, everybody. Stay safe. Bye for now.